Hello, great people. Despite public outcry, the federal government has finally arrested Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan for allegedly defaming Senate President Godswill Akpabio and former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello. On this episode of Politics with your Short Plug, I will be revealing to you what transpired in court. I will be playing you some of the clips that were shot in the court premises, and also we'll be reviewing the case of our arraignment and why the arraignment eventually at the end of the day became a victory for Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan despite being granted 50 million naira bail and other conditions. I will be revealing the conditions to you as well, and also we'll be dissecting the associated issues and a whole lot more on this episode with your short blog, Dr. Omosoladeji. First, if you call this case Natasha versus federal government and Akpabio and Yahaya Bello, if you call it an escape from the lions, then you won't be wrong, because imagine a female versus the federal government of Nigeria. And not only that, Akpabio is also putting his weight behind the federal government, and Yahaya Bello is also putting his weight behind the federal government. So you can see that it was a narrow escape for Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, and you will get to know that in a moment when I begin to review to you what transpired in court. But let me pick it from the scratch, which is that in the morning, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan arrived in the court premises with her husband, Emmanuel Uduaghan. They are both dressed in white, and you can see the cordialness between them. And when they arrived in court, there were other activists that were already seated, people like the former Minister of Education, Obi Ezekwesili. We also had people like Aisha Yusufu and one activist called Mama P. They were all present in court, and they exchanged pleasantries. And when the case was called before Justice Chizoba Oji, the case was read, and Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan took her plea, well, guilty or not guilty, and of course, apparently she pleaded not guilty. And after that, the federal government made a surprising move, which is that the federal government applied that Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan should be remanded in prison pending the determination of the case. Yes, you heard me right. The federal government, the Tinubu-led federal government, made an application before the court that Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, a serving senator representing Kogi Central, should be remanded in prison pending the determination of the case. If you are wondering what the case is, let me kind of like refresh your memory. You will recall that Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan accused the Senate President Godswill Akpabio and former governor of Kogi State Yahaya Bello of plotting to assassinate her. Then she wrote a petition to the government, but instead of the government to kind of like address her as the complainant, she is the one that is now being prosecuted. So it came as a surprise that the federal government could be seeking a remand in prison pending the determination of the case, and the judge adjourned to September 23. So if the judge has denied that bail, that means that Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan would have been in prison from now till September 23, 2025. So you can imagine that means that the whole of June she will be in prison, the whole of July, the whole of August, and September 23 is towards the ending of September. So that means that Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan would have remained in prison till September 23, 2025. Now, let us go to the terms of the bail condition that was given to Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, and I will read something to you. The major task was that she should provide 50 million naira bail, and let me read this to you. A bail condition: apart from the 50 million naira, the court held that the defendant, that Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, must produce one surety who must be a person of integrity that must own a landed property in Abuja. That means that she has to produce one person, somebody of high integrity, and that person must own a landed property in Abuja. The court based its decision on Section 36 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, as well as Section 163 and 165 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015. The case was subsequently adjourned till September 23. I don't know why 2023 keep coming to my mouth. Till September 23, 2025 for trial. Now, looking at these bail terms, what can you point for me? That means that Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has to provide 50 million naira. Well, some people are saying that, well, that the bail condition is stringent. Well, I agree with you that the bail condition is stringent, but then bail is being determined or based on how rich you are. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan apparently is a rich person, so the judge cannot give her an amount that she won't feel the impact, because don't forget that the judge has not decided that she is not guilty, but it is presumed that she is innocent until proven guilty. And if you saw what transpired in court, you will know that, well, the judge was still being fair, in the sense that what the federal government and Akpabio and Yahaya Bello were pushing for was for her to be in prison. So for her to be in prison, or for her to part away with 50 million naira bill and provide a shorty that has a landed property in Abuja, which one is better? I think the bill is better. So kudos to the judge, Justice Chizoba Orji, in that regard. But having said that, I am still displeased with the bail condition, in the sense that I believe that the senator should have been granted bail based on self-recognition. There's something called bail on self-recognition, in the sense that if you are somebody that everybody knows, if you are a public figure with high integrity, the judge can grant you bail on self-recognition. And I believe that Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan deserved to have been granted bail on self-recognition. You will recall that when she appeared on the platform of Adeola Fayeun on YouTube and Facebook, she said that she was in the United States, and now at that point in time, she's in the UK, and she'll be coming to Nigeria because of the trial. And perhaps that was one of the reasons that made the judge to turn down the application of the federal government, that she didn't see any reason why Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan should be committed to prison. So I think that kudos to the judge for granting the bail, but then I believe that Senator Natasha deserved to be granted bail based on self-recognition. But if you look at it anyway, Natasha won in the true sense of it, because Akpabio's wish was to jail her. You will recall that days ago there was a case that was called on. There was a case that was called in court, and there was a kind of like a kangaroo tactics for Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan to be in prison, whereby 10 trucks stormed the court, and they were asking for the court to grant a warrant of arrest and detention. If that judge had granted that order at that point in time, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan will currently be in detention. So the Akpabio team, and in connivance allegedly with the federal government, have been playing different kind of game to make sure that Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan is broken and in prison. So I believe that despite the bail condition, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan is still a winner in this regard. Now, let us look at something which I call the trauma of uncertainty. I believe Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan would have been going through a lot recently, in the sense that when the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was giving the Democracy Day speech on the floor of the National Assembly, my mind went to Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, and I imagine how she would be feeling at that point in time, because she's supposed to be there as a duly elected senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But at such a gathering, she was absent. And I was thinking in my mind that, what if this woman is not guilty? What if this woman was truly abused and sexually harassed, but still she is not able to represent her constituency on an important occasion as the president giving a speech on the floor of the National Assembly on Democracy Day? So that itself is one form of trauma or the other for her. Now, to the trauma of uncertainty that I mentioned earlier, Natasha doesn't know whether she would return or not when she was leaving her home this morning. And I won't be surprised if she had already packed her prison luggage, because she knows that she's fighting the powers that be. So for her to return, it takes some kind of like special grace. So the trauma of uncertainty, living home with your husband, and you are now at the mercy of a judge that can say that they should commit you to prison, definitely it kind of like gives you some trauma. But then thank God that she was being granted bail accordingly. And after being granted bail, we must emphasize that Natasha's security must not be overlooked, because one cannot trust all these people that are after her. Natasha's security must not be overlooked. There have been series of attempts to kind of like make sure that she is broken, or she is, allegedly summarily executed. And for that reason, her security must not be overlooked. And watch out for the determination of the court as regards her suspension in the Senate. I think that case is coming up on June June 27. So that's just a few days away. We look forward to what will happen in court. But what I can say to Godswill Akpabio and Yahaya Bello is that they both should be very careful. The federal government, headed by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, really has nothing to lose other than, kind of like a kind of rebuke from the public. The public may be against the action of the federal government for using taxpayers' money to prosecute Natasha. But aside that, and perhaps some form of legitimacy crisis, Bola Ahmed Tinubu really has nothing much to lose, especially if it's somebody that doesn't care about the integrity of his government. But then, Yahaya Bello and Godswill Akpabio, the Senate President, has a lot to lose in that regard. And that's why I'm advising them to tread softly, tread carefully if guilty, because they don't know the evidence that Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has at her disposal, because you never can tell. And you know how court case can be. When the case is called up, definitely everybody will be firing from all cylinders. So if truly Yahaya Bello and Akpabio are guilty as alleged by Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, then they need to tread softly. But right now, it is safe to assert that the relationship between both families are broken beyond repair. Both families are friends, the Uduaghan family and the Akpabio family. It is now safe to assert that the relationship at this stage, the relationship between both families are broken beyond repair. But that's sad, but that is the reality at this point in time. I must not end this video without giving a shout out to the husband of Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. Kudos to Emmanuel Uduaghan for being a good husband, for being a good role model to all men, for standing by his wife at this trying time. Kudos to Chief Emmanuel Uduaghan, and kudos to Obi Ezekwesili, Aisha Yesufu, and Mama P. Kudos to them for standing by Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan at this point in time. It's not easy for a woman to be facing the federal government combined with Akpabio, combined with Yahaya Bello. We just hope that at the end of the day, the righteous one will get justice in this regard. I wish Senator Natasha the best of luck. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode of Politics with Joshua Plug, Dr. Omosoladeji. Subscribe, turn on your notification button, catch up with my past videos. See you in my next video. I love you all sincerely.